Hi guys, it's April. It's been a while because I just spent the last week at my grandmother's house giving myself another head cold, which is great. So as most of you know, I do a mid-month wrap-up and end-of-month wrap-up, and this is my end-of-month wrap-up for March. So I did read a good handful of books this last 2 weeks of March. The first book that I read was a buddy read with Shay Geeks Out. I will link all of her information down below because she's absolutely great. And the book we read, Sisters Read by Jackson Pierce. This is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. This is a very well thought out story about two sisters who spend most of their life hunting down werewolf-like creatures and killing them after a tragic event in their early childhood that left them orphans. In this story, they are on a hunt for these werewolves because they are all congregating in search of this new recruit. And it just goes from there. These characters are all very strong and very independent, and it was good to read, even though it was slightly predictable, but for a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, this one was great. And I want to pick up more of Jackson Pierce's works. And then I picked up Applied Mind, How Engineers Think. This basically steps through the process of how things are engineered together and how different products came about. It was interesting to see how some very popular products came to market and how that thought process works, especially since I work with a lot of engineers at work. I just recently put out a review for Awakening of Sunshine Girl because I've finished this beautiful book, even though it's got this embedded stupid Target sticker on it. Not happy about that. But I will link to that full review above and below so you can go check that out. This is the second book in the Sunshine Girl series. It deals with Sunshine learning to deal with her new powers and getting to know her mentor slash father and how things got to where they were. If you like the first book, you'll probably like the second book. Okay, so my battery just died. I'm not entirely sure I'm at the same angle that I used to be, so if it seems like I jump spots, that's the reason why. I was then sent 2 books for a review, and that is The Newsmakers by Lisa Weave and If I Run by Terry Blackstock. Newsmakers is about a woman, Erica, who has made some very bad decisions in her life. She is a news reporter, and after she decides to turn her life around, a series of events leads her to GNN, Global News Network, where she hits the big time. But things are happening around her that she's starting to question. They're too coincidental, and she just doesn't want to let it stand how it is. She needs to find out the reason why this is going on. And this is that story. It is very interesting to read, however, within the first 2 chapters, you pretty much know who the antagonist is and what is about to go down. There's no mystery within this book. If I Run is a story about Casey, whose best friend is murdered, and she stumbles upon his body, leaving her DNA absolutely everywhere. Because of the bad history she's had with cops in the past, she decides just to run. So she's on the lam. She hops on random different buses trying to decide what she's going to do and how she is going to get some very sensitive information to the right people. Dylan is a war vet who is hired by the family of the young murdered man to track down Casey to bring her to justice. In his quest for finding Casey, he starts to realize that things aren't adding up the way they should. So he's starting to question if it's ethical to bring Casey in. This is the first book in a series, and I am absolutely hooked. I can't wait to see what happens next. I just need to know. I need to freaking know. Why? Why do others do this to me? Yeah. It was good. I then read Level Up by Kathy Yardley. This is about Tess, who is a programmer in the gaming industry. She is in the audio production of game engineering, but she wants to break out into architectural design. That area of the industry is very male dominated, and she can't figure out why she can't make it where she wants to make it. Her roommate, Adam, is getting over a breakup from a year ago, and his friends are pushing him to socialize, basically. So Adam decides to help Tessa by telling her that she herself needs to socialize with the other engineers. She can't just be holed up in her cubicle. This leads to a series of events of Tessa trying to create a game in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, one of the two, cramming this all together and slowly but surely making friends besides her social anxiety that seems to take over when she's around a lot of people. I completely understand how that goes. It's a cute little story. It's not anything weighty. I believe it was only 100 and some pages, but it was absolutely adorable. And I kind of understand where Tessa is coming from because that is my face. It is my face. So I will be looking for more by this wonderful author and her geekdom because I just liked it. I did. Then I read Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I need to own a physical copy of this book. It was that good. This is about this island where these water horses come out of the ocean once a year, but they're meat-eating horses, and it gets crazy and gross, and they eat things they shouldn't eat. But each year when these horses come out of the water, the men on the island capture a horse to run in this short race. This year, Puck decides that she is going to run the race because she wants to keep her brother Gabe on the island. She can't understand why he wants to leave, but he makes a promise that since she wants to run, he will stay until after the race. People don't want her to race. There's a lot of things that could go wrong very quickly in this scenario. I really like how Maggie laid all of this story out. She left it to you to figure out the culture and everything of this island. I love the way that Maggie Stiefvater writes, and I truly, truly, truly enjoyed this story. And then there was this beautiful little hunker called The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy, where trying to keep Luthadel from pretty much being taken over by a swarm of different people. There are armies at their gates from 3 different directions, and they have to figure out how to make sure that Luthadel does not fall. I really liked getting back into this world. It was good to see these characters 2 years after the first book happened, and that ending, third book, here I come. Yep. So those were the books that I finished off March with. What was your favorite book this month? Tell me down below, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.